ridiculous story. It's a partisan whistleblower. They shouldn't even have information. I've had conversations with many leaders that are always appropriate.
Have you read
No, I haven't.
Who in your White House?
I just tell you, it is, everybody's read it. They laugh at it.
President Trump taking on the whistleblower who filed a complaint about the president's communication with a foreign leader. The Washington Post reports that complaint involves Ukraine. Let's dig deeper with a former FBI double agent. Naveed Jamali is the author of How to Catch a Russian Spy. He's also a columnist with Newsweek. Naveed, great to have you here. So who could this whistleblower be, given the people who have access to the content of the president's phone calls with foreign leaders? What's your best guess?
So I don't think that actually the whistleblower is blowing the whistle because specifically of the phone call. Rather, I think that, look, I spent 10 years as an intelligence officer in the Navy. You know, for someone to actually file a whistleblower complaint with the IG, it meant most likely that the president actually issued an order or there was an action taken. So, for example, if we have an agreement with Ukraine to share information, or if we have collection requirements, that is, we're spying on Ukraine, and those collection requirements are changed. Now, if the president wanted to change any of those to sort of push this message, that would have been an order that trickled down to someone who's in charge of that. And that could have perhaps been the basis for this actual complaint, that someone who did this. So I think this is beyond just a phone call. This was just a phone call with the president talking to and asking to do this. I don't think that we'd be talking about this. I think most likely there was a follow-up action or actions that were meant to reinforce this push to get Ukraine to help him.
So how could this person get access to the president's conversation? He would need to have a full transcript if the specific new reporting we've seen is accurate.
I think most likely, let's play a little devil's advocate here. Let's say that someone who's collecting an analysis, who has sort of an intelligence sharing agreement with the Ukrainian government, is now told that they should no longer share that information. That person then goes back and asks, why are we no longer sharing information? And as a result of that request, it comes down that this is being ordered by the president, and the justification as to why they want this done is then made available to this person, and that becomes the basis for the IG complaint. So I don't think that the person saw the transcript of the phone call, was in the room with the president. Rather, I think it's more likely that they were involved in actually the subsequent action, the order that the president gave to support this, and they were told to do this because of this initial phone call.
So what could be the motivation then of this whistleblower? Some voices on the left have even called this person a hero and courageous. Trump allies say that the person has some kind of political agenda. So you know the intelligence community. What's the likeliest scenario here? I mean,
so I'm sure there's a level of morality, but look, there's another part of this, which is saving your bacon. You know, we're trained as intelligence officers, Executive Order 12333, which specifically denotes we're not allowed to collect on U.S. persons. And, you know, if you are a young intelligence officer and you're told to collect on a U.S. person, you have a duty to report that. So this could be something as simple as this person got this order. They were ordered to act on this specific thing, and they were concerned about breaking the law. And as a result of that concern, they started an IG complaint. So their motivation, of course, was morality, and they did the right thing, but I think that it was also much more practical, which is they probably didn't want to go to jail.
The president does have a history of enmity with the intelligence community. Could this whistleblower not just reflect the president's actions, but the frustration of the intelligence community with the president?
You know, look, again, being in the intelligence community, I kind of, yeah, I discount that a little bit. I don't think that this was politically motivated. I think much more this was practically motivated. I think that at some point someone had to act on an action, and that action disturbed them morally, but it also probably disturbed them in the fact that they were concerned that they might be breaking the law. And that second part is probably the reason that they filed that complaint.
And as you know, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Committee deemed the whistleblower complaint urgent. But the acting director of the National Intelligence refused to release it to Congress, arguing the complaint does not involve conduct by a member of the intelligence community or involve an intelligence activity. But could the president seeking foreign help against an opponent be considered an issue of national security?
I think it does, but it's just, you know, and look, I'll say this as my personal opinion. I have no love for Donald Trump, but that being said, as the president, he has the right to negotiate how he sees fit. I think that when it starts to pass that transom, when it becomes something that Congress should investigate, when we start talking about impeachment, it would have to include follow-on orders. So a discussion with Ukrainians about this, while it's disgusting, not even distasteful, I don't know that without those orders that it rises to something that that involves criminality. And so, you know, that's the concern that I have here, is that we're focused on this phone call, but what came from that phone call? Was it just an idle phone call? Or, as we're hearing now, that when they suspended aid to the Ukraine, was there subsequent action taken to help either A, motivate the Ukrainians to follow through, or B, spying on the Ukrainians to make sure that they were in fact doing this? That's the sort of stuff that concerns me, and I can understand perhaps why the intelligence community doesn't want to talk about, you know, what sources and methods we have in place to monitor the Ukraine. But I do sense that there was probably more than just a phone call here, that the president probably issued orders directing people to do things that were going to, you know, encourage the Ukrainians to act on what his request was.
Yeah, and only time will tell if we do get all of that information. Another point here, though, according to public records, annual complaints to the intelligence watchdog hotline have more than doubled since Trump took office. What does that say to you?
I think that people are worried. I think that there's a concern. Look, you have to trust your commanders that when they give you an order, that order is both ethical and it's legal. And I think that what you're finding here is a breakdown in that chain, that if people start questioning both those things, not only are they not going to act swiftly and efficiently in carrying out that order, it just shows you the confidence in the chain of command. If the chain of command has no confidence by the people that are following it, this is the end result. And look, as Americans, we're just not safer if the intelligence community isn't working as damn hard as they can to make sure that, you know, those who want to do us harm are being monitored.
Naveed Jamali, great to have you here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the most striking moments from Corey Lewandowski's testimony before the House Judiciary Committee and what they mean for the push to impeach the president.
When you need a passionate start to the morning.
Are you ready to fight?